Hello guys, and welcome once again to my YouTube channel. So as you saw by the title of the video, I just want to show you 10 principles or laws that literally transformed my whole trading career, and that will bestly help you to improve your trading career once you understand them and you know how to apply them even in your trading space. So literally the first law that literally transformed my whole trading career is actually the Pareto Principle, the Pareto Law, whatever you want to call it. This law, it literally says it actually takes it's only 20% of the clientele in business that will literally give you 80% of the returns. So it's actually a business law whereby they literally say 80% of any business's profits, they usually come from the top 20% of the clients. So in trading, how does this apply in trading? I literally saw that it actually applies in trading in every sense, in the fact that when it comes to your pairs, if you check how many pairs are there right now in the Forex market, there are so many pairs. More than, I think there are even more than 20 pairs. There are so many pairs that you can never find, right? So many pairs. So many people now, they get confused. So which pair do I trade? Which pairs do I focus on? They don't realize that even if there are so many pairs like that, there are always those top 20% pairs that are always the best to select from. Like, you always know that when it comes to pair selection, you need to consider things like how volatile the pair is, how structure moves, how does it respect structure when it's going up, when it's going down, all those things, so many other things that you consider. So there are always the top 20% pairs that are always best to choose from. And I've actually realized that it actually works in the trading space, in the sense that also it actually takes lesser pairs for you to make more profit. People, they think you need to trade more pairs to make more profit. No, it's actually the opposite, whereby you actually need to focus on those few minor top 20% pairs. Once you focus on those few, you literally see that most of your returns, they will literally come from those few pairs that you would have selected, right? So that's the first principle, or the first law that literally transformed my trading. So law number 2, or principle number 2, is literally the law of compounding, or the law of compound interest, whichever way you want to call it. So this law now, it literally revolves around you actually utilizing profits to make more profits. This is actually one of the biggest laws or biggest principles that businesses use, even if they start as small scale businesses, but they can literally reach that large scale level if they apply the law of compound interest. So in the trading space, you literally can actually apply this law, this principle, in the sense that, let's say for the bare minimum, let's say someone trades a $10 account to $50 or to $100, right? From there, you don't need to start withdrawing at that level. You don't necessarily need to start with. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any business sense to take a $10 account to $100, then you now want to withdraw at that level. It doesn't even make, there is no business logic involved there. So it's like even someone who takes a $100 account to a $1,000 account, right? So you don't necessarily, that's why there's always time to make profit and there's time to withdraw. There's a proper time based even on the business perspective. So even in trading. So what you do, once you've grown, like if you are those guys that are flipping accounts, if you flip an account, you literally use that profit. You can even use that profit to even raise it higher, because it's now easier now, because that account is no longer there where you started. So you now have that huge cushion to actually utilize to make more profit. So instead of withdrawing those profits, you can actually use them to make even more profit. So that's actually law number 2. So law or principle number 3, it's literally what we call the law of averages. The law of averages, or the principle of averages. So this one now, it's actually a very interesting law, because it actually says future events are likely to turn out so that they balance any past deviation from a presumed average. Future events, they are likely to turn out to balance, right? So it's actually sort of like, I can say it's sort of like similar to the law or the principle of balance, whereby the markets will always seek to balance. There is no market that can keep on buying for forever without balancing in form of retracements and stuff. So the markets, even the financial markets, the Forex markets, what they do when they are applying this law, they are basically going to balance buyers and sellers on the charts. So that's why the market, they don't move in a straight line going up. even coming down, they don't move in a straight line coming down, because they actually also apply this principle, which is the law of balance, or the law of averages, whereby they literally balance, even if the buyers are more than the sellers, they will still keep buying, but before they continue buying, they will give those retracements. The purpose of retracements is to balance the buyers and sellers, because if they keep on buying, it doesn't make sense anymore. It loses sense anymore. So and it's even easier. Let's say if the markets were moving straight up like this in a straight line, it was going to be easy for anyone to enter that market and to make profit. I don't think there was anyone who was going to lose. Many people, they lose it now when it comes to retracements and things like fluctuations coming. That's where people start to get confused what's happening. So that's where the law of average or the law of balance literally comes in. So that's literally law number 3. Law number 4, it's also very interesting now, because this one, I think this law, I actually realized this one when, I think 7 or 8 years ago, when I was still in school. I literally realized this law, and this is actually one of the laws that literally made me to actually start to think differently concerning money, even from that young age. So this law, it literally says, it's actually Wilson's 4th law. It literally says, if you prioritize knowledge and intelligence, money will continue to come. If you prioritize knowledge and intelligence, money will continue to come. So they actually did an experiment using this law, whereby they literally checked people from any industry, and they literally concluded and said the top earners in any industry are people who have prioritized knowledge, intelligence, and understanding what's going on in that whole space. So even in trading, if you prioritize knowledge, until understanding and intelligence, if you prioritize those things, you literally realize that you keep on making profit. Many people right now, the reason why you keep on losing in trading, you are prioritizing the wrong thing. You're actually prioritizing what we call a byproduct of knowledge. A byproduct of knowledge is money or profits on the charts. So most of you are coming to Forex trading and you focus on the money instead of the knowledge and the understanding and the intelligence. So once you focus on that, money itself, you keep making money because you have that which money wants. Money, it actually sticks on knowledge. It sticks on understanding. It sticks on intelligence. So if you don't have that and it comes, it won't stick. It will just come and go. It will come and pass and go where there is that knowledge and that intelligence. So moving on to the next law or the next principle, it's actually called Mafi's Law. Mafi's Law or Mafi's Principle. Mafi's Law or Mafi's Principle, I actually chose his second law actually, where he actually says, left to themselves, things will always go from bad to worse. Left to themselves, things will always go from bad to worse. So how does this apply in business? How does this apply to you as a Forex trader? This one, it simply means there is no growth that you ever realize, whether in business or as a Forex trader, if ever you don't attend to things that you must attend to. People, they think growth, whether knowledge-wise or even profit-wise, it's automatic. There's nothing like that. It's not automatic. Every growth that you see happening anyway, in business, even as a trader, every growth that you ever realize, it will be because you have paid attention to things that you must pay attention to. So growth is never by accident. It's never by accident. It's always intentional. So it's all about this law. It literally revolves around the idea of intentionally doing the things that you must do, intentionally studying the things that you must study, intentionally doing the X that you must do in order for you to get to that next level. So it literally says, if you don't change things, won't change. So it's like, if you don't change yourself by giving yourself new knowledge, things won't change even in your trading. If you don't feed yourself with new knowledge, new understanding, a new perspective of the charts, even your results, they will never wake up one day changing. That's why I always tell people, you will never wake up one day having $1 million floating in profit. That will never happen, even if it will never happen. That's what most of you, that's the perspective that you're having on Forex, whereby you just want to wake up one day being profitable. While least you didn't go through the process, the making of a profitable trader. You never went through the process. You just want to get to the outcome of being a profitable trader. So that's a very deep law. I feel like it's actually helpful in business and also even in trading. So now moving on to law number 6. Law number 6 is actually Gilbert's law now. Gilbert's law, it's also interesting. Because this one, I remember when I discovered about Gilbert's law, that is what made me to go deeper in terms of wanting to know what's going on the charts. Because if you check Gilbert's law and also Mafi's law, they are sort of like the other one is the mother, the other one is the baby. In the sense that Gilbert's law actually says the biggest problem at work is that no one tells you what to do. The biggest problem at work. No one tells you what to do. This one, I actually got to fully understand it when I also fully entered, obviously, the trading space. Obviously, before that, I knew about it. But when I got into the trading space, it actually made more sense now. It made more sense now in the sense that if you check the trading space, there is no manual to say you have to do like this, like this, like this. There's no manual to say, unlike, let's say, for example, unlike in our religions, where we have Christianity or Muslims or what, if you go to all those areas, they have manuals whereby they will literally tell you, this is what we do here, this is how we do, this is how things are done here. Even in any organization, in any business, or in any, they will tell you that here, this is how we do stuff. But if you go to trading now, there is no manual to say this is how you trade. So all these people that are now coming up with YouTube channels, with what mentorship, whatever, those are people, some of them, they are also still trying to understand what's going on. But very few, they have an understanding of what's going on. Very few. It's just a few number of people who know what is really going on. So not having a manual in the trading space, it's actually a disadvantage, I can say. In the sense that if someone now doesn't go deeper to understand what's happening, you can literally be a trader for 10 years, call yourself a trader, while you know nothing about what's really going on, and you don't even realize the fullest potential of even being a trader. So that's a law that is actually worth applying even in your trading career. Law number 7 is actually what we call Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law. So Parkinson's law is also interesting also. It's interesting now in the sense that it's a law that actually applies to every sphere of life, not only as a trader as well. So Parkinson's law now is the idea that your work will expand to fill the time that is allotted for its completion, right? Your work, it will expand to fill the time allotted for its completion. This is a law that I actually realized it also works in terms of goal setting and stuff, whereby people who don't set goals, who don't give themselves targets, those people, they can go for years without even realizing those things that they want to realize. Because if you don't give whatever that you're wanting to achieve a time frame, if you don't give it a time frame, your mind, it can relax. It can even relax, even if you were able to achieve it in that time, in a specific time. But the fact that you didn't put a time frame, your mind, it operates in what we call a future event state. A future event state, this is a state which your mind occupies when it doesn't have any time frame. You say you want to become a millionaire, but you have never put a time frame to that. Even as a trader, it affects you, because most of you guys, you're just coming to trading. You are jumping in. You are just doing things randomly. Even your learning stage, you haven't even given it a time frame to say, I'm going to learn this thing maybe for a month or 2 months or 3 months. I'm going just to fully focus on learning. Then from there, I'm going to focus on now trading live. So most of you don't give yourself those times. You don't give yourself those targets. Even profit targets, even all those things are essential. Even financial targets, whereby, let's say you want to make your first $1 million in trading. After you fully learned, you now need to give yourself a time frame to say, okay, from this point, I can give myself a year, 6 months, 2 years. It's now up to you. It's up to you. And now the most interesting part about these targets, it's actually scientifically proven that if you apply more pressure, if you want to harvest diamond, or if you want to see the greatest glow from diamond, you need to apply more pressure. The more pressure you apply, the more glow you will see from that diamond. I was actually doing a conversation with this other mining friend of mine. He was telling me about these diamonds and stuff, telling me that if you want to see a diamond that received less pressure and the one that received more pressure, the one that received more pressure, it actually has a certain unique glow to the one that never received that greater pressure. Same to you as a trader. If you as a trader, you take this law and you apply a lot of pressure to yourself in terms of wanting to learn as quickly as possible, wanting to understand as quickly as possible, wanting to fully go deeper in terms of understanding as soon as possible. Once you apply that pressure to your mind, people, they think that there is a time where the mind will the mind will never explode. Even if you put too much data into the brain, even if you put, let's say, data that is, or data that is, what do you call this, that is so many years old, into a small kid, the mind of that kid will never explode. It is scientifically proven that the mind, once you put something that is beyond the mind's capacity at that point, the mind, it has this flexibility nature whereby it can literally expand to meet the demand that has been offered. And also, it's also scientifically proven that a mind that is expanded to a certain level, it will never contract. So if you stretch your mind to this level, let's say you've stretched your mind to say, personally, I make this certain figure every month, right? Your mind, you've stretched it to a certain level. It means now, the only thing that you can now do from there is to go up, not go down. Because your mind, once it has been expanded like that, it needs to expand more. It can't contract back to level zero. So that's why it's so difficult for someone who has once made $1 million or who has once become a millionaire. It's difficult for them to ever be broke again. Unless, I'm not talking about these lotto guys whereby you just wake up, no. I'm talking about people who went through the whole process of becoming a millionaire. It's so hard for those people to ever be broke. Even if let's say coincidentally, whatever happened, then they are brought at zero. The way and how quickly they will go back to the million, it will be so quick. It will be so quick than before, because their mind is now used to that level. So once the mind has been expanded like that, it can't contract. So it's a very interesting law that you can actually apply as a trader, where you can actually start to apply more pressure to yourself and even give yourself targets, even if those targets, they seem unrealistic. There's nothing like there's nothing that is unrealistic when we're not talking about real life. There's nothing like an unrealistic goal. It's only unrealistic because consciously at that point, at that level, at that time, you don't know how to achieve it. That's why you're calling it unrealistic. But there's nothing like an unrealistic goal when you're now talking technical in terms of life. So yeah, that's law number 7. Law number 8, it's simply the law of supply and demand. The law of supply and demand, this one is as simple and straightforward. It's also sort of like connected to the Parkinson's law, whereby life or the market, it will supply you based on your demand. The demand that you put on life determines the supply that life will give you. If you put a demand on life to say, if I just make $1,000 every month, I'm okay. That's a demand that you have placed. You've placed it on yourself, you've placed it on life as in general. And the funny fact is, you will meet that one. You actually meet that goal. Even if, let's say, you struggle to meet that goal, but eventually, most of the times, you will meet it. You see that it will be so easy for you to reach that goal because you've offered a certain demand. So most people now, the mistake that we do now is whereby we keep on maintaining that same level. And you maintaining that same level, you are not offering a higher demand. So life will not offer a greater supply. Life will always supply based on your demand. Others are demanding greater, that's why they are being supplied with greater. Others are demanding lesser, that's why they are also being supplied with lesser. So even you as a trader, if if you give yourself a lesser demand to say, me from Forex, I just want to be able to feed myself. You'll be able to feed yourself, but that's the demand because that's the demand that you offered. So offering a greater demand, it doesn't mean that it won't be achieved. It will actually be achieved, but the process, it will be different for someone who is offered a lesser demand. So that's law number 8. Law number 9, which is almost the second from last law, it's actually the law of mass consciousness. This one now, it literally operates in the idea that if you see 100 people or 1,000 people, 10,000 people moving in one direction like this, in one wave like this to this direction, as a trader, you need to be so much observant and also so much calculative to say why is everyone going this direction? Why not that? What is that side? Like, I remember when I discovered this law, I was still in school myself. I was in high school actually, and I was now doing my own study, and also some research is also confirmed what I'm about to say. And they realized that, have you ever noticed that of all the thousands that are graduating, that are going to university and graduating, all of them, if you check, majority of them, they all have a similar lifestyle even after they've graduated. Someone actually asked the question, why is it we've placed a linear scale like this to success? Yet success is so broad. That's why you see someone can be a footballer and actually realize success through that. Someone can be a musician, realize that. So success, it's not limited to say you must have a degree to have success. No, success is too big than a degree, too big than that paper that they give whatever validation, for whatever form of validation that they want to do. Success in life is too bigger than that. So people, they don't realize that. So that's also an interesting law that you need to consider. And even on the charts, if you see many people saying, we want to sell now, if you see the majority of people wanting to sell at a certain zone, you need to take a step back and actually realize that potentially this people can be used as liquidity. That's why you see most of these supply, support and resistance levels, they are being utilized as liquidity the majority of the times, because they know, most of these traders, they know only support and resistance. So they know that at a support, most of you will buy, at a resistance, most of you will sell. So they come at that zone and they make you to buy or to sell. Then boom, they wipe you out, use you all as liquidity. Once they've used you as liquidity, up there you take the opposite trade, thinking now they are now going that direction, and boom, they now go where you initially thought they were going. So that's liquidity manipulation. All those things, they work in the same law of mass consciousness. Then the last law, which is literally law number 10. Law number 10, this one, it's a very, very general fact of life in general, whereby it's the law of compensation. It's also, we can also call it the law of sowing and reaping. The law of compensation, it literally says that you always be compensated for your efforts and for your contribution, right? Whether little or big. So this one now, it literally says you always be rewarded based on your input. You always receive results based on what the input that you would have put. It's like you always reap what you have sown. If you sow, if you understand farming, if you sow 1 hectare of whatever, even if of maize or whatever, you will never receive 10 hectares of yield from 1 hectare of sowing that you did. So this is a law of life that literally, it literally balances life, I can say, because if ever people were now going to reap what they never saw, I wonder what kind of world we're going to live in, because it was going to be chaotic, because it doesn't make sense to say someone who planted 1 hectare, they are now reaping 10 hectares. It doesn't make sense. So it's literally the law of sowing and reaping. As a trader, it affects you big time, in the sense that you will never make profits from the charts that you have never worked for, in terms of seeking to understand knowledge, understanding, building the skill. You never receive profits that are beyond your skill set. You never make profits on the markets. The markets themselves, even the market itself, the market is, I can even resemble it to life. whereby the market, it will always reward each and every single trader based on how far they know, how deep they know, based on how much they have improved their skill set. So you never make profit that is beyond your skill set. If by any chance you make profit that is beyond your skill set, let's say your skill set is at level 4, there's no way you make profits that are at level 10. If that happens, it will be by chance for that day. Very soon, tomorrow or next week, you go back to your level. So most of you want to go to levels that you have never qualified for. You don't deserve to be there, but you want to be there. You know that based on how much input you have taken, it doesn't even get to that level, but you actually want to get that level. So what do you need to change? You need to change your sewing, increase the input. Increase the input to increase the output. So guys, those are 10 laws and 10 principles that I have learned so far in business, that have transformed me business-wise as well as trading-wise, that I feel if you apply them, take them as a trader, you actually improve in a very huge way. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video as I go deeper and deeper into some of these things.